Benevolence, dear mortals. You can call me Whimsical William. Welcome to my channel. Alright, so in this video, I want to talk about a super cute Yuri or girls love called Our Wonderful Days. I'll show you all the covers. It's not a huge commitment. There's only 3 volumes in this series, and I think that it wraps up pretty nicely. I want to say it's the ending of the first volume is probably the strongest part, and the second volume is really good. The third volume, it's definitely the weakest out of the 3, but it's not bad at all. Let's talk about it. So, Our Wonderful Days is basically one of those tropes, one of those stories where 2 friends see each other after a long time and they get closer than they've ever gotten before. They were always close, but as older teenagers, because they hung out when they were little kids. So as older teenagers, high schoolers, they always gotta be high schoolers. They really bonded. One character, the main character, seems to be really aloof. Well, I wouldn't say aloof, just like airheaded, just like a real sweet cinnamon roll, but like not really knowing what's going on. And the other one is like kind of in a way sadistic, but only sweet to that character. So it's really funny. Like she could be super rude and mean to like everyone else and really blunt, but to her, she's just super sweet and really nice and really patient. And it's really cute to see. I love characters like that. They're like mean to everybody else, but only to the person that they care about are they kind. So they're just getting into high school. The main character is like, wow, that girl looks really pretty. She looks really adult. She looks really cool. I like her hair. And then she happens to get close to that girl and she calls her name. And she's like, you know me? And then she's like, oh my God, it's you. You know, the whole trope, like my long lost friend. And they instantly bond. And the main character is worried about not making a lot of friends this year, but she has her long lost friend and she has 2 other friends from, I don't know if you hear those sirens. It's crazy. But she's worried about not having a lot of friends or making a lot of friends this school year. But she has her long lost friend and she also has the 2 friends from, I think, the last year or like middle school. So she's like, I got a couple friends. It's kind of cool. Let's hang out with my other friends. And the other girl's like, all right. And they all hang out and like they all don't connect, but they're not hostile. It's just like, I'm only here for this one person. I'm not here for any of you. It's kind of like how her attitude was, which is understandable. It's true. She's really honest. And I like that about her character too. So within this story, you know, it's just friends hanging out, talking about their grades, talking about where they're from. Everybody's like kind of huddling around the long lost friend because, oh my God, you're from Tokyo. Everybody else in the friend group, they're from like just in the middle of nowhere, basically like farmlands and the outskirts of Japan, like faraway prefectures and things of that nature. So they're excited, like, oh my God, Tokyo's real? Have you been to Shibuya? And she's like, yeah, it's a real place. So what are you talking about? And she's not used to people like not being familiar with the city. And so they're hanging out and they just, I think the best part about this story is just how the characters interact with each other. They all got their grades back from their test that they took. Everybody's like, oh my God, I bet the city girl did really good. She actually had the lowest grades of the whole group. And then the airheaded girl had the best grades. So that's like, in a way, that's almost foreshadowing. Like, even though this girl seems super airheaded, she knows what's going on. It's like she just plays stupid. Just super interesting. So, you know, a couple other situations happen. I'm not going to give you too much detail of the story, but they just bond more and more. And there are subtle hints that like, hey, I like you. You probably don't like me. And then the other girl is like, I like her. She probably doesn't like me like that. I'm just weird. And it's just subtle. The subtlety and the hints and how they connect and how they bond. For me, like I like really cute stuff. Like I like brutal and dark and messed up stuff too. But my bread and butter is the wholesome, sweet, cute stuff. Like I'll be on the edge of my seat. Like it's like fighting and shonen and craziness happening. Really, it's just like a will they, won't they? Or it's like, oh my God, you're gonna find out the secret. You know, something like that. It's like they made shoujo for me. Like, I love it. This isn't really a shoujo, I don't think. It doesn't feel like a shoujo. I could be wrong. But it gave me that wholesome vibe. Like, there's a scene where the long lost friend is on the train riding with the main character home, just so she doesn't have to ride alone, and really because she wants to hang out with her. And she falls asleep and leans on her. This is my favorite scene in the entire manga. She leans on her and falls asleep, and then she's so pretty. And then she takes a picture of her, and then she's like, I'm gonna keep this picture forever. It's gotta be my wallpaper. And then, like, the other girl wakes up, the main character wakes up. Oh, I'm so sorry, you know? But really, she didn't do that on purpose, but she was glad it happened. And then when she got off the train, she was like, wow, you know, I was crazy, like I was sleeping on her. And then you see a picture of the long lost friend in her phone. So that gives you context as a reader, and me context as both of these characters feel the same way for each other, but neither one of these characters know it. So now you, the reader, you're like, when is it gonna happen? When is it gonna happen? When are these two characters gonna realize that they both feel the same? Or at least they have similar feelings. Like, when is it? How is it gonna happen? And then you find out it's 3 volumes and you're like, probably in a 3rd volume, but when and how? So after that scene, I was like, I guess I'm not gonna sell this manga. Because keep in mind, this entire month I've been reading my backlog of stories that, like, I don't know if I'm gonna love. If I don't love this story, I'm getting rid of it. It's just how it is. The only thing that's gonna keep a story that I don't love is, I guess, clout. Like, if it's like older and kind of like just makes my collection seem unique, or it's something different in my collection, and it just makes me feel different from anything else that I have. I don't want a lot of the same stuff in my collection. I want variety. This is a library, and libraries tend to have a large variety of books, magazines, and things of that nature. But back on topic. So we get deeper into the story, and, like, you know, you're like wanting to figure out when is it gonna happen and how is it gonna happen, and it just doesn't happen for a while, and you're like, all right, cool, keep reading. They introduce other characters into the story, older characters, you know, they're drinking and they're dealing with more adult problems, and it's cute. Could have did without it, but I guess it was a good break from just having the same 4 characters over and over and over again. So you got to get introduced to one of the characters' older cousin, and then her friend happened to be a teacher at the school, and then you get introduced to a few other older characters as well, and they're really cool. I like their personalities. They're just fun to watch. Like, they're fun to witness their interactions with our main characters, whatever, yada yada. So I'm reading more and more of the story, and you kind of get off topic from the main characters and the main love interest, and you get to see the other characters' feelings. And for a moment you think, wow, maybe this other character has feelings for our main character, but it's like strictly platonic. And this character happens to be one of these characters where it's like they'll hug anyone, they'll kiss anyone, they'll be close to someone, and it just means that, you know, they're close to that person. It doesn't mean anything else. So that was an interesting development, and almost a sidetracking of the main story that I wanted to get to. We get more and more into the story. After a while, I kind of forget, like, I guess it's not gonna happen. I guess this isn't a girl's love, and it's just gonna be friendship, which is like, I don't know. I would have been super disappointed, to be honest, because I went into this expecting there to be a hint of romance, not a small hint either, like something substantial, something filling, and not just filler. So we get towards the end of the story, and basically there's a scene where the girls are really hanging out together alone and just enjoying each other's company. Then they start talking about their dreams. And there was a scene in this manga where I'm reading it, and then all of a sudden nothing makes sense. And I got super irritated. I'm like, this is good, but you're losing me now. And like, I'm gonna sell you now because I'm not feeling this transition. It literally makes no sense. And as I'm reading it, I'm realizing that this is basically a slice of life, and I'm seeing borderline sci-fi within the manga panels, and I'm not feeling it. Like, the art's beautiful. I'll show you the art in a second. The art in this manga is actually pretty nice. It's nothing to write home about, but for what it is, it's nice. It's really refreshing. It's unique too. So I'm reading it, and there's fish floating in midair, and then towards the end, you realize not only is it a dream, but there's a deeper meaning to it, and it's going to connect to the conclusion of the story. I didn't realize that, but I kind of had an idea of it, and I got hype about it for sure. So basically, at the end of the dream, she's like, walking around. She's looking for someone. She's looking for something important. She's like trying to get through all this bizarre things that are happening, like these fish floating around and random trees. And then she finds a long lost friend. She's like, I've been looking for you. She's like, I'm glad you found me. And they kiss. And then she wakes up and she's like, oh my God, what was that? So they get their fortunes read. She just pretends the dream never happens. And her fortune was like, you're going to, get closer to someone important to you, closer than you've ever been. And that got her freaked out, but she just tried to ignore it. And the other person's fortune was basically like, if you're not honest, it's gonna end up really bad for you. So their fortunes were like kind of preparing them to do the big thing. They didn't realize it. But they're talking to each other. They're eating like, fruit. And it's really hot. It's summertime in Japan. So they're like really trying to figure out how to cool off. So they're outside, they're eating fruit, and they're talking about their fortunes. I forgot how or why the topic came up, but they were talking about dreams. She was like, I had a dream. I don't know if I should tell you. She's like, what was it? And it was like, I had a dream that we kissed. And long story short, other girl's like, why don't we? And then she's like, all right. And they did. And then she was like, I can't believe we did that. And it was like, at first it was underwhelming, but I just like how casual they were about it at first, and then later on, it blows up like, wow, we really did that. I feel like it was the most natural and progressive way to lay out those panels and to create that scene. It was nice to read, and it was really nice to build up to. The build up was definitely worth it. So they do all that, and then later on in the story, they hang out with the friends, and it's kind of like I'm reading, through the panels and through the story, through the pages, and I'm like, so we're not gonna talk about it? So we're not gonna talk about the fact that y'all just did what y'all wanted to do, and both of y'all feelings are reciprocated? So then like the other character's like, oh yeah, you guys were hanging out, did you have fun? And the long lost friend was like, yeah, we kissed. And like she expected all the other girls in the group to like freak out, but she's like, no, we do it all the time, me and my friends. And she's like, well, I do it on purpose, and I really like this person. I like my friends too. And then she's like, I love this person. And like it took them a while to realize that it wasn't like a platonic thing that she wanted to have between the main character and herself. It was romantic. And when they realized that, it was like, oh my God, no way. Well, she's a girl. She's like, I know, I don't care. And then they were like, we support it, we don't care. It's fine. And that's kind of like how the story ended. It kind of felt anticlimactic. And that was kind of like the whole energy of the story. It was just really sweet and just really kind of low key, but I like how accepting it was. They didn't really need to add any drama or any resistance for the sake of making the story longer or more engaging. It was just the sweetness of it all. So I don't know, I might keep it, but let me show you a little art real quick. Some of my favorite scenes. I really enjoyed the really good scenes in this manga. And I'm just really thankful to have so much good manga to read available in English, physical copies. I'm just really grateful and thankful to be interested in such great hobbies and to be immersed in it and to have it, accessible. With all that being said, thank you so much for checking out this channel. If you haven't already, if you've gotten this far, subscribe if you feel like it. That will help the channel a lot. And we'll mix it up. We'll talk about some animes, because I never talk about anime. It's only manga. But to be fair, manga has so much spotlight and attention. I like to give more to manga. Anime has so much spotlight and attention. I like to give it to manga. I really am excited to talk about more figures. I got another one coming in a couple weeks, I think. So I'll be doing a review on that as well. A figure collection tour and a manga collection tour would be really nice in the future. Or I might just do an entire apartment tour. I need to clean up a little bit for that, but that'd be really fun. With all that being said, thank you so much for hanging out with me and listening to me ramble. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.